Hello, hello, hello. Beautiful people. What is going on? Welcome back to another week, another episode of Unhinged Christian. It's your hostess with the mostest, Asia Janae. Let's just get straight into it. Honestly, truly, I feel like it would be remiss of me to hop on my platform and like pretend that I don't struggle with things or that I'm not human, basically. I've seen a lot of that where people use their platform to talk at people and not really resonate with them. And that's why I named this episode Struggle Bus because I'm struggling too. And I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm not ashamed of it or anything because not that I need to be humanized, but it keeps me grounded. Like a lot of people run from struggle or try their best to avoid it or just act like it isn't even happening. But lately, life has been giving me a two-piece combo with the driest biscuit they could find. And I just can't get on here and be like, y'all, I'm having a hard time. I don't want to be a person who is giving and telling and spreading the gospel, but also can't speak their truth or be honest enough with myself and vulnerable enough with y'all to share my story and my testimony. You know, that's what it's all about. I think that's all connected. I know that I can't have one without the other. I need to have something to testify about to have a testimony. So yeah, life is really whooping. And it's okay. I'm here to tell other people like it's okay. I think I don't have like a series or anything yet, but I'm more than positive I said this in the last episode too. Like it's okay to not be okay. Because it is. I just feel like it just is. And that's the stuff that needs to be normalized. Like, it just is. We just still, I love that movie, y'all. Sorry. But yeah. And I feel like a lot of what I'm struggling with is also what a lot of people are struggling with. Um, and just don't have like a means of an outlet or at least a relatable voice or person that they could be like, dang, she going through that too. Yes, yes, I am. Yes, I am. But no, so the core of today's episode is just overcoming. Like I just want to focus on overcoming, but I can't only speak on overcoming if I'm not shedding a light on the struggle. I also want to make that a focal point of the episode today too. Like, don't run away from that stuff. I literally just went on a trip back home to see my family and handle some business or whatever. And a lot of military people, home is not a place like we go back to often, right? Um, and for me, because I don't want to claim that anymore, but I had a lot of trauma connected to a place that was also home for me. So it kept me away for a very, very long time. And when I would show up, it wouldn't be for a long time. It would be very brief. It's, hey, I'm in, I'm out. I got to get some stuff. I got to do this. I got to do that. And then I'm going back to where I feel safe. But with this trip recently, it allowed me to tap into another like power that I didn't know that I had. And it reminded me that all of us have this power because all of us have this struggle in some sense. like reclaiming the power over a situation that has fueled you, that has fueled your fear for a good part of your life. It's so, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's so scary. It's so painful. And in that, it just led me like closer to the people that I'd run from and closer to God. Like nothing could have shaped that. The timing of the trip was perfect. Like everything just fell into place to where I had all the tools I needed to be able to deal with what was there and to actually close that chapter and open a new one in a place that I was once so terrified of. Now I feel so loved and like such a sense of belonging. And I feel like a lot of us are looking for that in life, in all aspects of life. We all want to belong somewhere. We all want to be a part of something, whether we're willing to admit it or not. I'm not a person that leads in ego or pride, so it's not hard for me to admit those kinds of things. And I think that is a testament to my growth and especially my relationship with God. Because let me tell y'all something. Let me make this really clear. If you feel like you can conquer the world and you don't need anybody and you don't need anything, blah, 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 I love that for you, right? Hear me out. Rome was not built in a day. And it definitely was not built by one person. Everything takes a team, it takes a tribe, it takes a village. But you have to be willing to work with other people. You have to be willing to compromise the way you do things in order for the mission to be accomplished. So in the same sense, I had to learn how to work with God in order to heal those areas that I had been running from back home instead of trying to work it in my own way. And a lot of y'all, a lot of us, it's a us thing. We a family or whatever. But no, a lot of us, we tend to feel like, oh, I have it all figured out and I don't need anybody. I don't need this. I don't need that. And that is a place that's coming from a place that's fueled by pain or fueled by fear of reliving something you've already been through. You once depended on somebody and they failed you and they let you down and they abandoned you. And now you're like, I don't need anybody for anything. And it's hardened you, it's hardened your heart. And in that, it's also taken so much power from you. You have a false sense of power because you think you're doing everything alone when really you're isolating yourself from people who do want to help and do love you, but you can't make yourself available or you refuse to based off past experiences that new people in your life or pre-existing people have absolutely nothing to do with, but because you've given this situation or this type of circumstance or type of person so much power over how you view life, you've let your pride and you've let your ego falsely mold a sense of identity within you, and that's not truly who you are. And now it's just like, oh, I feel stuck and why do I feel so alone and why can't I ever accomplish anything or why is this so hard? Then it becomes a blame game like, oh God, why would you let this happen? Why, why? When not times out of 10, we are the source of our own demise. We just would rather not acknowledge it because we have convinced ourselves that we wouldn't hurt ourselves. We wouldn't put ourselves in a bad situation. I'm my own person. I would always only do what was best for me. Negative. Negative. There's a lot of things that we haven't learned from that what's that word I'm thinking of? Subconsciously shapes us. And you think, oh, I have it all figured out and I got it and I don't need this and I don't need that until you're me and you go back home and you break down because all the things that you thought you handled and thought you healed from, or you were over it and you've grown past it, are literally at your feet. They're in your face, forcing you to deal with them. That's a harsh reality that all of us face. And I'm just here to let y'all know that y'all not facing it alone. Like I said in my last episode, I know that this is a hard time of year for a lot of people. Holidays are meant to be joyful and, family oriented, but a lot of people didn't have a healthy family growing up. They didn't have that house filled with love. They didn't have any of that. So this becomes a very hard time. And even for me, everybody struggles with something. So come on and hop on a struggle bus because you don't have to be alone. If you're going to struggle, don't struggle alone. Don't struggle alone. And I'm not saying have miserable people around you, but have people who understand you. Have people who are willing to understand you, willing to learn you, who are willing to be patient with you, but they can only be as willing with you as you are with them, and even more so as you are with yourself. So when it's like, oh, I'm down, I'm out, I'm down bad, I'm all alone, are you giving yourself enough grace? Because if you can't be nice to you, how can you expect anyone else to come in and you be receptive to the love and kindness and gentleness and nurturing spirit that they have? How can you be receptive? Literally, my sister just called me. Well, I called her, and she was like, "You need to really show yourself some grace." And in that moment, it helped me realize, like, I was fixating on one thing that wasn't going right or the way that I wanted, and not even realizing that I hadn't relinquished that to God. I'm telling y'all, some stuff be hitting me, and I'll be wanting to be mad, and I'm just like, God got it. Like, it's not that easy. I promise you, it's not that easy. But when you trust, I'm not gonna lie, for me, it's that easy. For me, it is that easy. because of the trust that I have in God, like, I know that nothing happens for no reason. Everything happens on purpose for his purpose. And I just believe that so firmly that yes, things happen. Yes, unfortunate things happen. Yes, traumatic things happen. But everything has a reason. He would never allow anything to happen outside of his will unless I'm outside of his will. Then it's like free game. So that's why I need a lot of people to understand. Everybody's like, oh, why is this happening to me? Why is this? Oh, life is falling down. Life is crashing down on me. God either preparing you for something or he preparing you for something. Or he at least trying to get you back home. Because whatever you doing and what we be saying, crashing out, maybe I'm not crashing out. Oh, Lord. I'm not doing it. Me no like it. Okay? Crashing out is just like, I, it, you hear the pause? Like, it's just not an option. When you have so much faith and just such a strong belief system, it's hard to associate what's going wrong with where I am in life. And that's really the word. Like, okay, this isn't happening the way I want it to. That doesn't discount how far I've come. Like, cool, I've reverted back to this maybe, and I could have handled that situation better. Those things are not subtracting from who and how, well, rather, who I've become, who God has molded me into in this very moment. The two are not synonymous. You're allowed to make mistakes, but you also have to understand that after a certain point, it's not a mistake. You can't say I've done the same thing 7 times and be like, it's a mistake. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. With this relationship that I've built with God, I understand that yes, He is all knowing. He's also all forgiving. And yes, you can repent, but after a while, it's like you slapping that man in the face and then expecting him to take you back every time. And I just think what has helped me in my journey is how would I feel if somebody was slapping me in my face and then saying it was an accident and expecting me to take them, you know what I'm saying? Take their apology seriously every single time. Like, no. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. But in all of that, all I'm saying, not all I'm saying, but the gist of that is like, we're all going to struggle. We're all supposed to struggle because there's nothing, I believe that nothing worth having is going to come easy. Now, at the extent of which people struggle is different because you can knowingly see the red flags and have an out and still not take it. That struggle is a struggle that you're choosing. Then you have a struggle of choosing your flesh over what God has for you. Still something that you're choosing. So you see, the common denominator here is choice. God is always going to give you a choice. And now I say that, and it feels like a double edged sword because sometimes a lot of our struggle isn't choice. It's it's not our choice. Let me be more clear. A lot of the struggle that we endure or that we go through are a result of the choices of the people before us. So we have no say in it, which is why I found it so soothing and what's the word I want to use? We'll just stick to soothing, but I found it to bring me peace that a lot of what I deal with is a result of what my parents hadn't worked on and healed. So I understand that it is my responsibility to heal those things. That doesn't make it fair. That doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it ideal. But that's my job, like because I wouldn't feel right leaving that, knowing how heavy this is. And I have a daughter. I don't want to leave what my parents left me onto her in the negative sense. I want to be able to pass down things that she can healthily multiply from, that she can grow within, that she can grow from, that she can spread out into the world. So I understand that it is my job to take on the burden and deal with this unhealed trauma that has been passed down from generations, which means that sometimes the struggle that I endure isn't mine. And at first, it was very frustrating and very infuriating for me because it's like, I didn't do this. Why do I have to bear witness or bear the responsibility, rather, of fixing something that I didn't break? But it's all about perspective, in my opinion. I see it now as more of a responsibility, and I feel blessed that God trusts me enough to be like, "Hey, they couldn't do it. We saw they couldn't do it. That's why you're dealing with it." But he believes in me so much that yes, there is struggle. Yes, it is. It sucks. Circumstances suck. There are traumatic events that have happened, but he trusts in my ability to overcome these things so much that that's why he gave them to me. So it's more of a thing of, am I willing to overcome what is in front of me to regain my quote unquote power and my strength to renew my family and my bloodline. And that's just one example. But truly, I feel like there's a lot that we struggle with. I personally try not to claim depression and anxiety because power is in the tongue. But I will say this is a sucky time of year where sometimes there are days that I don't feel my best and I do struggle, but it's okay. Once you understand your role and your purpose in life, it's easier to rationalize the struggle when it's above you. The struggle that you choose to endure, that's on you, big baby. And really, I feel like I personally, literally, I just went through this. The struggle or resistance that you choose to endure is just a lesson that you refuse to learn. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say that one more time. The struggle and resistance that you choose to endure is just the lesson that you refuse to learn. So when you go into your friends and you're like, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that, I want better for myself, have you gotten up to do better? Have you removed yourself from that situation? Have you removed or limited access to those people who are providing the resistance? Have you held yourself accountable? Because it's not given. It's given. You like to struggle and you want to struggle. So what good can the people around you who love you do for you if you want to endure struggle? I, you know, that's the Gigiana. That's tea. You have to want better on on a level that is basically incomprehensible. Like you have to want better, so much better for yourself that you don't even say anything about the circumstance. You choose. Like ultimately what you do with it is between you and God. You have to be tired enough. And that's in any situation. You got to be tired of being big. You got to be tired of being small. You got to be tired of being broke. You got to be tired of being lonely. You have to be tired enough to get up and make the change. There's nobody else around you who's going to do it for you. There's nobody else coming to save you because you don't have the will. I won't say don't. You won't exercise the will that you do have to do it yourself. Therefore, Karma, why would I send the cavalry? Why would National Guard show up? You in the house full of guns, more than capable. You have all the tools to protect yourself. You have all the tools to, vindicate yourself of your circumstance. And it's like you refuse to use them. Now, refusing to use them and not knowing how to use them, two different ball games. Because a lot of us have the tools. A lot of us have what we need to be freed from these situations and just have never been shown how to utilize them. There's a lot of tools that we have that, if not nurtured and poured into, we just lose the knowledge on how to use them. When trauma in life and, when things are happening, fight or flight, you forget how to use that weapon. That's why you have to constantly utilize it. My weapon of choice is the word. My weapon of choice used to be my words. My mouth is slicker than oil. Yeah. I'm taking it to hell every time. But not anymore because, I understand the consequence of using my tools to bring harm to others just because I feel like they brought harm to me. Ah, I understand that on a level deeper than, oh, you hurt my feelings. Like words pierce the soul, they replay in your head on repeat. You don't forget how it sounded when it came out. You know what I mean? So that used to be my weapon of choice. But now I just lean into the love that God has shown me and the grace and the mercy that He's shown me. um, but let this be a testament. You can show people grace without letting them play in your face. That's a lesson I just had to learn. The hardest of ways. The hardest of ways. You can show grace without letting people play in your face. You can have boundaries, because that's something I feel like I was struggling with or am struggling with right now on my, oh, this isn't very godly of me. How, you know what I'm saying? I would want to handle this in the most responsible way possible. But a lot of people are not where you are in your walk, in your journey, because everybody's journey is different, right? You can still exemplify the love of God and be firm in your boundaries and be firm in your respect and be firm in being Mrs. Ain't Going. Because I'm not going to lie. I was just going for a whole bunch of stuff I had no business going for, honey. But now, you have to, that was a situation that God put me in. And it was a struggle and a resistance that I was choosing to endure until I was ready to learn the lesson. And now that I have learned the lesson, I have another sharpened tool in my toolbox that I know how to utilize. So while the situation may not be ideal, it happens for a reason. So, yes, life is hard. Yes, we are struggling. Yes, 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 yes. But we don't have to do all of that stuff alone. And when we do struggle, let's be cognizant of how we're treating others, especially the people closest to us, especially the people that want to do nothing but love on us. Please do not give those folks your butt to kiss. If you cannot properly work through your emotions or vocalize how you're feeling, come up with a system, write it down, do something, but go as hard as you would. I won't say sober minded, but in a clear mind. Like in your purest of states, when life is good, how would you treat this person that is trying to love on you? How would you show up for them when they're in need? You know what I'm saying? That stuff matters. It all matters, I promise. Well, you could call me One Take Jake because I did this in one go. I didn't think I was gonna be able to, y'all, but I did. Yeah, so that's basically the gist of today's episode, everybody. Overcoming the things that have happened to you, understanding that nothing is happening on accident. Everything is happening on purpose within God's purpose over your life. And not running from the things that make you feel small, but addressing them and regaining that power and repurposing that power for a bigger and better reason, a bigger and better purpose. So I'm gonna pray us out. Lord, I just want to thank you for giving me the responsibility or blessing me with the responsibility, trusting me with the responsibility to speak on your behalf, spread your word, your love, and your message. I want to send love, light, and peace out to everyone listening, everyone that's not listening. Cover them in your blood, in your mercy. Let your will be done over all of our lives. In your name we pray. Amen. And before I close out, for real, I know I didn't record anything last week. We all know I didn't record anything last week. And I just want to say thank y'all for being patient with me. Love y'all down. See y'all next week. For real this time, episode 3. And I'm out. Bye.